Hi, everyone, and welcome into this live this evening. Listen, I was going to take you to one of my favorite parks here in Charlotte. It was such a beautiful day earlier, and I went out midday, and then I went back out, and the sun was not as high in the sky, and it got cooler all of a sudden. And I did go by the park, but it was just no sun in the park. And I said, this is not going to make a good live. I'll have to come back here another time and a little earlier. But I hope everyone had a wonderful week. The first week of April is behind us, and I hope you were able to accomplish some good things, make some great connections, and just get something started. The title of this live is You Know What? And I just remember my mother used to get tickled when I was a young girl because every time she would pick me up from somewhere or when we would be driving somewhere, I always just enjoyed talking. I enjoyed talking to her, especially because she always listened with the type of ear that wasn't trying to rush me through. And so she always would laugh as I became an adult and said, "You know what? You used to always say, you know what? You know what? Did you know this? Or you know what?" And she would always say, "No, I don't know what." And then I would just go on and on about a topic or a subject. And so today I had breakfast with my center child. And for those of you who know, or maybe those of you who don't know, I have three young adult children, and they are all exactly to the day, almost to the hour, 20 months apart. And so I don't refer to my middle or the second born as the middle child. I refer to her as my center child. And her and I have really great conversations. I have great conversations with all of my children, but I would say on a daily basis, I have great conversations with her. I think it's because I have the most constant contact with her right now. And so this morning we went to breakfast and we were just talking. She's the type of person that really likes to ask deep questions that will have you thinking, really thinking about your life. But definitely questions. Hey, Olivia Love, and I know who you really are. How are you? Great to see you. It's good to see you. I hope you had a great week. You've been doing a phenomenal, phenomenal job, and I just really enjoy you. I enjoy knowing you too. So thank you for being here this evening. But I was just saying how this morning, before really starting my day, my daughter and I went to breakfast, and she always asks deep questions. What are your goals? How was your Q1? She's very much like me right now. At her age, she's 23. I didn't talk as deep as she did. She is very mature, aware, self assured at her age, and I'm tickled just seeing her move in her career and amongst her peers, and it's just really really good to see. Now my son, I feel, is most like my husband. He's very observant. He's a as a man thinketh type of person. Our youngest is like me, but when I was her age. And but she does things that are just remarkable, but the way that she has fun and enjoys life is most like how I was at her age. And so she's 22 and my son is 25. But at breakfast this morning, my daughter was talking, and she is a realtor. Now she has a bachelor's degree from the largest HBCU in the country. And so I'm not going to say the name, but if you can guess it, that's great. And so is she graduated in 2022, but interestingly, when COVID happened, it was at the end of her, let me think, it was at the end of her sophomore year in college. And so they came home in March, and she finished out the semester in May. And then in June, she started real estate school and graduated in August, started back to school in August, passed received or took the exam, got her real estate license, and became a play or a team person, or, whatever they call it, part of the team at a Keller Williams location. And that was her junior year of college. And she's, stayed home that whole year because of COVID and did her real estate thing. Lots of people were doing lots of transactions with real estate back then, especially. And in Charlotte, 100 people move here every single day, so it's always booming. It's not really a dull or a lull. It's always transactions happening, buying, selling, all that. And so then, after her junior year, and COVID was still a thing, but the schools were opening back up. And so she was able to go back her senior year. And I told her, because I knew once you start making that money, if once you get a taste of it, it's hard to go back to school. But I said, whatever you do, finish school, because that's one thing. You think you may not need it, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have. And so I said, just make sure you keep on with that grind. So her senior year, she went back on campus. Well, she had an apartment off campus, and went to school, came home on the weekends because she had open houses or, meeting with clients. And then she would go back. And so she was kind of back and forth like that. And then she graduated on time, May of 2022, the largest graduating class in history for that school. And again, it is the largest HBCU in the country. And then she came home and was at it full time with the real estate. So she's been doing real estate now since 2020, actually, but full time since 2022. But she's doing phenomenal, and she's setting up strategies. She's very intentional. She maps out her week, her quarter, her day, and she's really inspiring. She's very inspiring. But I noticed that when she works out, everyone in my family is athletic. I'm really the only slacker. I am athletic, but I haven't been in a while. And but they are all, really good at working out, staying in shape, eating right, and everything. And but I noticed with her is when she knows she's going on a vacation, which is often, but not often enough to do it the way that she does it. Because when she knows she's going to go somewhere, she will work out every day. She'll fit her workout regimen in her day, and get it done every single day. And she's very focused and just gets it done, goes on vacation, looks phenomenal. And then when she comes back from vacation, she still is working and everything, but she's not working out as much. And maybe she'll fit it in, maybe she won't. Whatever comes up, she'll let that be the excuse. Maybe she's tired, maybe she doesn't have time, whatever. So at breakfast, I said to her, when you have a habit, when the habit works for you, you can't stop that habit. And you have a habit of really being good at working out before going on a vacation, and you achieve the results you want, and then you drop it. And that's not what you want to do. And I was really aligning that with her real estate. She's doing really good, and I don't want her to, have all of these transactions, and because her pot is so big, to just stop. No, you have to keep going. And that's what some people do. They may have a job. I've seen this happen. People are looking for work. Oh, I have to find a job, any job. I need to make ends meet. They get the job. They may work on that job for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month. And they start to get a pay on a regular basis, but it's a short period of time. They get this pay on a regular basis, and when they get caught up or when they have a little extra, then they just stop coming. And it's like, wait, you really wanted this, you worked towards it, you acquired the skills, you got the opportunity, and now you're caught up with what you wanted, and now you're going to stop. That's like the feast and famine mentality. And you know what? That doesn't work out. So have the feast and continue feasting. And that means, okay, your pot is big, but keep doing what you were doing so it can get even bigger and greater. So never think that you've arrived. And I say this often too, none of us have. So you're always going to strive, and just don't get comfortable. So even if you have this habit, you may have made this many connections, this amount of calls, you went to this networking event, you got this referral, you had this open house, you did this or that. Keep doing that, but do it differently each time. And the great thing about the way my daughter does it is her major was marketing. So she does a phenomenal job with marketing her properties, marketing even her team. She works on a team. And so she knows a lot of great strategies, things that attract people, just really how to get the word out, how to make things pop. And, I said, keep doing that, keep elevating that. Maybe find that perfect platform where you can post on several platforms at once. I know that she has a platform that they use in her office, but maybe developing another one. They just got a new one. So just finding ways to be creative and to elevate, and that's going to be important. And don't just stop, don't be one and done, don't work towards that one goal and then drop the ball. Those habits that you've developed over time to get to that goal aren't for you to just say, okay, I did it, now let me stop. It's like a person losing weight. They lose the weight and then they stop doing what they did to lose the weight. Now you may have to modify it because you no longer want to lose weight, but you want to maintain. And maintaining is not just dropping the ball and going back to your old ways, because that's the best way to go back to the way you used to. So I also called this live, you know what, because you never know what might come, what the direction will lead for this live. I again had a great week, but it was a long week. And today I was just like, if I can't be outdoors, I don't know. So I just wanted to come here. I'm honoring the fact that I committed to this 30-day challenge. I didn't commit to anyone but myself. And I'm not going to let myself down with this one. I really want to see what this is going to, what it's going to create or develop into. So I'm excited, and however I have to do it to be live every day for 30 days, that's what I'm going to do for sure. But in the Carolinas coming up this weekend is going to be beautiful weather. And next week is going to be beautiful as well. And I am here for it. I will definitely be outdoors for a lot of it. I hope it's beautiful weather where you are. I know in New Jersey, Central Jersey, North Jersey today, earlier there was an earthquake, and I was so surprised. My line sisters put it in the group text that there was an earthquake, and I was like, "What is going on?" And then in the afternoon there was another, like, what do they call it, the last shock, or another tremor. So I'm not sure what's going on. I know here it's been extremely windy. Today wasn't as windy, but it has some wind to it. I know yesterday was extremely windy, and this weather is just trying to make up its mind, but it's really dangerous having those earthquakes. I mean, if you were in that area and you experienced it, you definitely want to check the foundation of your home. I was talking to someone else that I know has family up top, and she was saying how, and that's what we call it down here in the South, we call New Jersey and New York up top. Well, she has family up top, and she said that there's two buildings that are next to each other. They are parallel to each other, and there's an alley in between, a small alley that, like a breezeway people can walk through. And the after the first earthquake this morning, there's no pathway between those two buildings, which means they shifted. So everyone that lived in those buildings had to leave, had to evacuate. And now, I probably the construction inspectors and building inspectors and such are in safety, fire, all that. They're probably and they are not probably they're investigating, making sure or checking to see if those buildings are still livable. I would think not. Maybe if the only way that one of them possibly could be is if it didn't move at all, maybe just one of them shifted, but the whichever one shifted, one or both, cannot be lived in because when foundation is moved like that, you don't know what type of damage it's going to cause. You don't know, what types of cracks, electrical wiring that may have been disrupted. It's just a lot when you're talking about something like that. And I know even if they say it's okay, if they give them all a green light to go back in, I definitely would be leery about it. But it's just interesting, it's not like up there they've never gotten an earthquake before. I remember as a young girl, I'm trying to think, maybe a teenager or late teen. I can't recall how old I was, but I just remember one morning waking up and I heard this rumble and I thought it was the boiler system in the basement. And we all did, and it wasn't, and it ended up being an earthquake, but it made such a loud noise. And I know a couple of years ago, maybe in 2021 or 2022, no, 2021 for sure, here in Charlotte, we had a earthquake, and I remember being home, and it was a Sunday, and I felt it in the house, and when you hear it or feel it, it doesn't feel like it feels like something's going on in your house. I think what did I think it was? I thought it might have been like the washing machine. Imagine if the washing machine is unbalanced and it makes a noise, but I should where I was in the house, I shouldn't have heard it. And I was like, what is that? And that's when, we all realized it was an earthquake. So we all just have to be prayed up, know that, any day could be the day. But that doesn't mean you don't live your life, and that doesn't mean that you dwell on that. You have to stay positive. I'm only bringing this up because it happened today, but I just, don't want people to live in fear. Now, what I am excited to see is the eclipse. And the interesting thing when I was at well, I was I was gonna say it. When I went out to breakfast this morning and when we went to pay, they were like, "Oh, do you want a pair of these?" And I couldn't really understand what the lady was saying. And I just, I was going in to the office. So I was just kind of like, what? And I just didn't pay much attention. But now when I look back, she was asking me, did we want eclipse glasses? And they were selling, or not selling, but they were actually giving them away. The glasses that you can look and, see the eclipse. They look like the 3D glasses that you get at the movies. But I didn't take a pair. I was like, no, that's okay. But now I wish I would have gotten a pair. Maybe I'll try to go back tomorrow or something to get them. But are you all planning on going outside to see the eclipse on the 8th? It's going to happen on April 8th. And I know that it doesn't happen often. I mean, this might be a once in a lifetime thing, but even if I'm not able to look up at it, just being outside and saying I was there, that I was aware it was happening, I think that's going to be just as powerful. But you know what? I think it's something that it's a history kind of moment, and that's why I definitely want to be part. But are you all going to do it? I hope that you are. And I'm just relaxing. Let me tell you, I am I am relaxing. It's Friday night, and I see Auntie Mama's kitchen is here. Thank you for stopping by. Yes, it's late, and you going to? All right, all right. We'll go outside together, Olivia love. Yeah, definitely. So I said, yeah. It's She's saying I'm well. It's been a great week, and grateful to be part of a phenomenal team. And you are so welcome to be part of a phenomenal team for sure. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. I did have intentions for my lives to be at least an hour long, but if not, that really wasn't part of the goal. The goal really was to get those 30 days in. Tomorrow I'm considering taking you to taking you shopping with me. I have to look for white dresses. My daughter is graduating from college in May, and she needs two white dresses. How many of you have always worn a white dress to graduation? And I'm talking about to any type of graduation: elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever the case may be. How many of you, or do you wear white dresses to graduations? I know for me, it's always been a tradition to wear a white dress, and I'm not even sure where that started. um, I see that Auntie Mama's Kitchen is saying that she hasn't worn a white dress. Have you heard of that? I thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. And she's my last of the three. So we are three for three. My son graduated in 2020 from college, my center child 2022, and here she is in 2024. But we're looking for a white dress. So her school has a tradition, and all of the students, they from freshman year, they have to have a white dress. And she had her white dress, but she had her freshman year virtually because, again, it was during COVID. At the height of it, her freshman year was August of 2020. And thank you, Olivia love. Okay, you never heard of it either? I always see a lot of young women with white dresses on, and I always think, well, I guess it is some type of tradition. But at her school, it's traditional for them to wear a white dress for their ceremonies. They have Founders Day ceremonies. As a freshman, their orientation, they had to wear a white dress. So even virtually, she had to wear a white dress virtually with white stockings and black pumps. And that almost, I wanna say, besides tights, as a young girl wearing tights, those were her first pair of nylon stockings or silk stockings, whatever the fabric was. And that's just that school is very, very traditional. I like that. I like that it has that type of tradition. It's an all girls college. If you look at some of my previous videos, you'll know which school it is. It's the number one private HBCU in the country. It's a very, very distinguished school. I'm very pleased with how they have developed her as a young woman, and you know, it's been a great experience. So her freshman year was virtual, and they had a class on a different world. I forget the name of it, but it was a class called A Different World, and that was so that they could discuss college life, but via a different world. You remember the show A Different Worlds that was a spinoff from the Cosby Show? And I thought that was really neat. They because that those girls, they did not get that freshman year experience, and so they did it vicariously through A Different World. But she has to have a dress, and it needs to be kind of like a line simple dress. She's worn her other dress all, these past 3 years, but that's when she was a freshman. She's a senior now. She's not necessarily has outgrown it in size, but definitely has outgrown that dress in style. And we tried to get a style that was timeless for her freshman year, but because of COVID, it was hard to find dresses, white dresses during that time, especially in August. Now is the time to find a white dress for sure, but August at the end of that season, it really was challenging, and we found more of a trendy type of style. But for this dress, for the Founders Day ceremony and such, we're looking more for like a line, below the knee kind of dress. Yes, yes, she's still watching and she's teaching. What grade or what age does your daughter teach? My son, he teaches. He is an EC teacher as well as an autistic therapist for young people. And yeah, that show, you know what? And I was going to talk about this. What's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith had a reunion of A Different World. They were on her Red Table Talk, or maybe they didn't call it Red Table. It was very recent, and it was really good. A Different World came on when I was in college, and so it was really exciting to see, as well as basically experiencing similar things. But it was a really good one. Her mother was there and talking about her experience as a mother of one of the actresses on the show. The only person that wasn't there was Sinbad, and also, yeah, Sinbad. But we all know, Sinbad is recovering from having had a stroke, and this wasn't the one that. Okay, she teaches 10th grade in biology. Yeah, that's a fun. That's a fun year. Oh my goodness, 10th grade. That's good, and I hope she likes it. I know a lot of teachers are trying to pivot into either corporate or more like local government type of work, and as trainers or as recruiters, and they're just kind of burnt out, from the classroom. Every time I speak to my son, I always ask him, "Are you okay? You still good? Everything's still good?" And he's like, "Yeah." I mean, his class is very challenging, but he really enjoys it. So, but I do know a lot of teachers are trying to pivot. Um, the school system. It's a wonderful career. I mean, I know your daughter is definitely making an impact. They say if you reach one, you've reached the masses. And so, tell her thank you. We need to thank teachers for their service, because if it wasn't for them, people wouldn't be able to enlist in the military. They wouldn't be able to enroll in college. It's from the tools and the strategies that teachers are teaching them. So she's leaving. Okay. Yeah. So many people are. They're not, teachers aren't having that 30-year career anymore. My mother-in-law, she taught for 30 years in Brooklyn, New York. And she said that when crack really came about, um, that's when things changed. Because before crack, if she had a challenge with a student, she can go to their house and talk to the parents, and everybody would be on the same page, and she wouldn't have any problems. But once crack started and she tried to go to the houses, she was getting cussed out. And that was a lot. Hmm. Yeah, that's where I am, Auntie Mama's Kitchen in North Carolina. Hmm. I know. And you know what? I feel like they said that 2024 is the year of exposure. And I feel like things are going to also be exposed with the school system, because people try to blame so many things and no one's taking an accountability. And we all have to know we have a part in all of this. And, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting. But so then I have to also buy a white dress for her graduation. I wanted to do something a little different. So I was thinking about taking, doing my live, doing a live like shopping, and let her know that I'm going to be live so she can be in the chat and tell me does she like this dress or not. But she's actually doing a training. Oh, she's at a workshop, a 2-day workshop at Deloitte, and so she won't be available. But I'm gonna have my daughter, my center child, to come one day and maybe have an interview, and she can give some really good tips for homeowners, for future homeowners, for people that are relocating, for people that maybe want to just do some upgrades to their homes. I know years ago. Okay, yeah, I'm in Charlotte. Hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because there's quite a few of us here. We really need to have a reunion or a get together. I know there was a time when Sister Fifi Tyson came through and Pastor Kim. I've met up with Lisa Carter's Eat. Her and I are sorors, and we met up once before. We need to connect again. I know she's busy because she's working from home and, with the kids and everything. She's in that sandwich generation with her parents and her children, which is that's a blessing. If you can ever, take care of your family and let your children be part of it, they're different. They grow up different. They are very compassionate and patient, and it's a difference. I know when we were caring for my mother and my children were very involved, and they were young, um, but they were there every step of the way. And those are experiences that they won't ever forget. It's very impactful. You definitely have to be mindful, especially when it comes to the end of life, but that is life. And it's something you really shouldn't try to hide from your children, but you definitely have to communicate the entire way through effectively. Um, so I definitely recommend, but you and your spouse, or if you're not married, that definitely their dad or your significant other or whatever it may be, another family member needs they you need to keep your children close during those times and explain what's going on. Let them have their emotions. Don't let them try to bottle it up. Let it come out. Yes, Pastor Kim is wonderful. I enjoy her. I had not met her in person. I did meet Sister Fifi Tyson in person, but I unfortunately didn't get a chance to meet with Pastor Kim. However, we both are connected together here on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pastor Kim. So I like to see YouTubers that are hanging in there with stick to itness. So many great ones you don't really see too much anymore. And I feel like I've been pacing myself. I know I've been on here for decades, it feels like, but I've been pacing myself. The race is not always won by the swift, it's by the one that has endured. And I definitely know that my journey on YouTube has been an endurance. I just kind of sit back. I feel like an OG on here. The one thing I would recommend to anyone that is listening, either here in this chat or looking at the replay, or just listening in and you can't get to the chat to communicate, I want to welcome you to. If you have a YouTube channel or are considering starting a YouTube channel, YouTube is very much like in-person networking. you know um when you It's about finding your tribe and being genuine with it, being your authentic self. So finding those tribes, and it's not always just one tribe. You have to start off with one, of course, but you can always spin and go to, throughout different ones. And that's how it is with networking. You know a group of people, but you know many groups of people, and you can vibe within those groups of people, because within those groups you have interests, like interests, similar interests. You may be in the same region, or their content is something that you may want to try one day, or that you have done before. You have some type of an alignment. And so that at that point they become part of your tribe. You communicate with them. You don't just sit and watch. If you're trying to develop your channel, you you let them know, hey, I'm watching and that was good. Or you say something and then they notice you and they're like, oh, how you doing? And then it starts to develop like a YouTube connection. And if you are new to YouTube, or if you aren't new but you can't get your foot in right, that's the thing. You have to intentionally try and find your tribe. And I just know, and I've said this before, where I started doing YouTube or watching YouTube because I was trying to find a tutor for math for my children. And then I noticed they had other content on here that I liked. And then I noticed that they had content on here that I liked and also could do. And, so I, learned how to upload, and the beat goes on. And yeah, you can upload, they call it post and pray. But if you don't really have a tribe, you gonna just post and pray. And maybe something will happen and maybe something won't. And YouTube is all about, YouTube is doing their best to connect people with people and suggesting videos. Because I'm trying to tell you, I've been receiving suggested videos that have been dynamic by content creators. I'm like, what? Who is this? What's going on? Like, I like them. Where have they been? Some of them are new. Some of them have been here for a while too. But nevertheless, you know, they try their best, but you have to do your best too. And that is personally connecting with other channels. They typically will have a group, like a crew. And then if you become part of that crew, then it's like your friends are my friends are your friends. And it goes like that. And that's how you start to feel that comfort. It was 2019. Now, by then, I had been on YouTube probably, who knows, let me think. By then, by 2019, and I don't know if you can look at the about me, you can see how long I've been on YouTube, but I don't know, I might have been on YouTube maybe 8 years by then. I mean, a long time. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I don't even know. And I found a tribe, and it was so dope. Oh my goodness. Like, it was all different types of people. I mean, it's like we were the same but different, and we lived everywhere. And this one woman, and her name is, because she's still on here, and I know that's where I probably met Pastor Kim. And I met a lot of great people. I believe that's where I met Burns Junk Closet. I may have met Carter's Eats there. I met a lot of great people. I know Jill's Comfort Zone. I met her there, but I met a lot of great people there. Man, I wish I had my other device. I just can't. I just can't get it right now. What is her name? I can't recall her name. And her husband would be there sometimes, co-hosting her show. But she would have this whole thing where people would connect. And I can't remember. Do you ever? Anyway, 8 years ago. Okay, my first video was 8 years ago, but I was on YouTube even before then, I think. Yeah. I was part of YouTube even before then. Was that 8? Was that 2012? Maybe it was 8. Anyway, it might have been 8 years. It's 2012 and 2020. I don't know. I feel like it's been like at least 10 years I've been on YouTube. But I can't believe I can't remember this lady's name. I just saw her video. At any rate, she would have this thing where everyone would connect. It would be like you go, I forget even how we used to connect. And the only reason why it's a gray area is because again, this was 2019. I remember I was so intentional. I was like, I need to build a tribe. And at that time I had about 50 subscribers. And I said, I have to build a tribe. It was my daughter's junior year in high school. She was playing basketball. I would be on my way to her games, listening into this woman's lives, because her lives would start at about, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock, like 5 o'clock, maybe. Let me think. Maybe like 4 o'clock. And I'm driving to the games and I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for right before the game would start, because I'm in the chat trying to connect and talk to people and connect with them. And then I would run into the game. So I guess it was just a lot going on. I had 2 kids in college and her and this and that. And then, I'm like, I'm trying to build my tribe on YouTube. I have my career. And then COVID happened. And then once COVID happened, everybody in that tribe, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in that tribe started getting monetized. They started getting their 2,000, I mean, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. We were doing playlists back then. I think people still do playlists now, where you share your playlist to get, help with your watch hours. And then um they were going live. And I was like, oh, if I could go live, I know that's going to be the game changer. I know it. And it took me forever to go live. And because I was part of the tribe, they were so welcoming. If they were live and I was in the chat, they would say, come up, Coach Sherri, like you can come up. So they wanted me to get comfortable with going live. So sometimes I would click the link and go up. Sometimes I'd be like, no, I'm good, thank you though. And they was just trying to get me comfortable. And then even one of them helped me go live. And then Sister Fifi Tyson, actually. And then Sister Fifi, and then the rest is history. But I'm just here to tell you to get part of a tribe. Like, look around, see what content creators you are enjoying. And then you started with Pastor Kim, and she okay. So did you go to her church in North Carolina? I think she is her church in Concord or Hunt. Where I Did you go to her church first and then she told you about YouTube? Because I know with content create, well, I know for me and a lot of content creators, we're out here. We are connecting with people all over the world. Literally, YouTube is worldwide. And you know, the people that are closest to us that we see typically don't even know that we are on here, and or if they do, they don't say anything, or they don't support, or and supporting is just really checking you out and maybe like putting a thumbs up or leaving a comment. They just kind of like, all right, that's over there. And I'm used to that. I'm used to that because my parents owned and operated their own business for 40 years. And it might have been a year, heck, 20 or 30 before people that we actually knew in our circle supported the business. Prior to that, it was people we didn't know that, not didn't know well, didn't know, it wasn't like good friends. It was people that were good people that supported, supported my family's business, but it wasn't people that we were going to their house for dinner, or they was coming to our house for dinner, or going on vacations. No, those weren't the ones that were supporting. And so when with YouTube, that's kind of how it is too. It's your business, and it's not the people that you see in your immediate circle that's supporting it. It's people you don't really know that well, but they're good people. And that's why I'm grateful for it. And you can't worry about it. Is what it is. And then one day, maybe or maybe not, they'll support. My parents didn't let that stop them. And guess what? When their good friends had something going on, my parents would support it. They would. They would buy tickets to their events. They would go to their, whatever the situation was. A lot of back then, it was a lot of events, a lot of formals, a lot of gala galas. They would buy tickets for it. Maybe somebody else might have, supported the event, but my parents would go. And eventually, years later, those same organizations or people, like I said, started to come around. And that's why you can't get mad. You just got to keep going. Everyone's not going to be here for you, but you need to know that you are here for you. God is here for you. And hopefully you have a loving family, immediate family that's here for you too. And that's all you need. That's all you need. Okay, here in Charlotte, that's where the church was. Okay. Right before, so that was probably like that. See, that's what I'm saying. It was about 2019. That's when all of the tribes kind of started developing. But and I probably did meet Pastor Kim in that group. Yeah, they are the last to follow, your friends and family. They are. They are. I mean, you definitely will have some friends here and there. Like I can say Olivia Love rocks with me. I know her outside of YouTube, and I appreciate her for being here. I'm telling you, it warms my heart when I do see people that I really know on here. That's very comforting as well. It is. It's very comforting. Because otherwise, sometimes they'll say like, "Oh yeah, I saw your video," because you're going to see them out in the streets, and then they're like, "Oh, how's this going?" And you forget. I know for me, because I have such a life out of you outside of YouTube. Ooh wee. And so sometimes when people that I know approach me and say something about what I'm doing or have done, I'm like, "How do you know that?" And they're like, "Oh, I saw your video." And I'll be like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know." You could have left a comment or maybe thumbs it up or something. They was like, "No, I was just watching." But they don't realize, unless they are content creators, that the thumbs up and the comments also help with the algorithms. But I had titled one of my lives, I think my Monday lives, that I feel like YouTube, I forget what the real title is, but I said something about being like the Beyonce of YouTube. I know some people probably, it wasn't for clickbait or anything. I was just saying, Beyonce's in all these different genres and people don't really know where to put her. And they don't need to put her anywhere. Just keep her in the music industry. And YouTube, when I start doing different types of videos, they don't know who to suggest my videos to. And I'm like, suggest it to everybody because it's something for everyone at the end of the day, you know? Thank you, Olivia Love. Yeah. hmm So I'm just very fortunate, blessed. I don't take it for granted, not one bit, to know what it's like to, not be fully supported by the people that you know all the time. Like I said, the role models of my parents, and just seeing them persevere, is that right there. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to know. And goodness, why can I not remember this woman and her tribe? But again, my advice, if you are out here and you're like, I just want to meet good people, because there are some people out here that you do not necessarily want to connect with, and you don't know that until, I don't want to say it's too late, but you just want to be mindful. But there are some really great channels that you know will support and share support in that way. You just have to be yourself, be authentic. And when I say a tribe, it doesn't mean that everyone has to be just alike in that way. I have all different types of tribes. I know all different types of content creators, and that's how I am in my real life. In my real life, I have all different types of friends in all different types of situations, because people are people. And what I've learned is that we are all God's people. And who are we not going to like that God has created? What are we really saying when we do that? That's not how he wants us to rock. Everybody's not going to be perfect. Everyone doesn't have to be in your inner circle, but you can love people from a distance, but that don't mean you have to be with them either. So, know the difference with that too. But just be good and be better to yourself, because you deserve it, for sure. Okay, I want you to have a good night, Auntie Mama's Kitchen. Thank you so much for being here, and I pray that I find a beautiful white dress too. At this point, it's going to have to be from a brick and mortar, because I don't know if we ordered it from a store, if it would be delivered on time. That's my only thing. Now, she was home last weekend for Resurrection Sunday, but and for Good Friday. But you know what? We just wanted to chill at home. Sometimes you just want to chill at the house and be with each other. We didn't feel like being in the hustle and bustle of the stores on Saturday. So, but thank you. Thank you. Yes. Amen. 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 Received. Yeah. Grace and amen. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And this is, I guess we can maybe call this a you know what? You know what? You know what? My mother said, you would always say, you know what? Because there's a lot to say, y'all. And especially right now, I'm not, with my journal where I typically jot down some notes. I do more formatted content where I intentionally write out what I want to cover just to make it more focused. But listen, it's Friday. This is my first week of doing a live every single day. And I just wanted to get into the habit of freestyling first, and just kind of get into the groove of that. And there'll be some lives where it'll be more focused, where I'm going to tell you, get your pen and paper out, because I will have something outlined where you're going to grab a nugget. And even with the freestyles, I know when I'm listening to content creators, if I don't have my pen and paper, and I know that they're dropping some jewels, I'll save their video in a playlist. And I've created private playlists for each month. So I have an April 2024 playlist. So any person, any content that I hear that I need to hear again, or maybe content that I didn't get a chance to get to catch up with, I will put it in that playlist so I can listen to it later and do what I need to do with the information. I advise you to do that too, because with all of these, you know, millions of content creators on YouTube, you may never find that video again. And if it's something that caught your eye for that moment, you may not even remember the title of it. So, just save it. And it's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt nothing. They're not going to even know you saved it. I think that's another thing. Maybe people are afraid that people will see them when they save or like, or I don't know. But at any rate, create that playlist. You don't have to make it public. You can make it private so that it's just for your eyes only. If you want to make it public and so other people can maybe check out the content that you are, perusing through, then that's so be it too. But for me, it's kind of like my it's like my folder. When you put stuff in a folder, you don't you put it in the folder because you're not sharing it at that moment. If I like it, then and I want to share it, I feel like, you know what, more people need to hear this. I will then put it out there. I know Charlene Heal has had some great videos. I had put them in my April folder and I had shared them. She had one on cheese, which disturbed me so much. Listen, I do not cook. The only thing I really cook for my family is mac and cheese. I cook it maybe 4 times a year. And now I'm finding from that video that cheese is not necessarily good, especially for women. Apparently, cheese has a lot of estrogen and can be a leading cause to cancer. Research is showing that it has high estrogen levels and such. And I'm like, man, do I use a lot of cheese in my mac and cheese too? So it's making me rethink that. Um, then she had one that I looked at today that I had saved in my I had actually did what you told me you did, Olivia Love, where you put the bell for notification because it was a premiere and I wanted to be notified when it was dropped, and so YouTube did notify me. I don't know if you knew that you can, if you subscribe to someone, you can hit the bell so that whenever they do a video, you can be notified, or if they have a live that's going to be scheduled out. Like I have one scheduled out for April 11th. It's an empowerment conference and it's a group of us. We're collaborating and we each are doing 45 minutes on our channel and we're talking about a specific topic about blossoming and blooming into the spring. It's going to be amazing. But you can go to the scheduled live and click the bell so you'll be notified when that starts. But at any rate, Charlene Heal had this video as a premiere or scheduled, and so I had hit the bell and I was notified when it was available, and it was about the different types of teas that you can drink to lower your blood pressure. So I don't currently take high blood pressure medicine. I take a beta block that's better for my heart. Apparently, with my heart challenge, I can't take regular high blood pressure medicine. However, because of my heart challenge, sometimes my pressure can get elevated. So I'm always looking for a natural remedy strategy. And I'm going to try the some of the tea combinations. So that video, as well as the cheese video, I had put on my community wall. So if any of you are interested in knowing more about that, you could definitely go and just click on my channel, go to my community wall, and you'll see the link to those videos. And those videos are really good. They're not long, maybe about 7 or 8 minutes each. And it's just getting you that information. It's so good. So, so good. And I hope that you all will take advantage and check it out. And if you do, tell Charlene Hill I sent you. Let her know, hey, Coach Sherri told me to check you out. That'd be so cool. Not that you have to, her and I aren't in cahoots or anything like that in terms of, I'm gonna send them your way. But I just think that's kind of dope. I know that's something I would do. If someone recommended and I did it, I would let that person know that that other person recommended me. So yeah, definitely. Natural is the way to go. It is. Listen, God made this earth with everything we needed to survive. And, science is good too because God gave them that knowledge. But sometimes the things that science produces, it kind of snowballs into other things. And that's not what we want. We want to heal the challenge. I want to do more than put a band aid on it. I want to heal it. So, for sure. All right. Well, look at there. What time is it? Hmm. Okay. I made it almost to an hour. I didn't think I would. I was like, I'll just go on for like 10 minutes. But I just want you to all, the thing I want to really bring home is something I talked about earlier is when you develop a new habit and that habit has been successful for you, don't stop. Just because you made it, you got that goal, you've arrived there at that moment, you've purchased that item, you've made that money, keep making that money, keep purchasing more of those items. Don't stop with just that one. Don't be one and done and think that you can drop the ball, because guess what? You're going to keep going straight, and another corner, another speed bump, another bump in the road or dip in the road is going to happen, and you're going to need that habit to get you through it. So don't, it's better to have and not need than need and not have. So I hope that you take that nugget home with you over the weekend. Let it marinate. Think about something that you really, really wanted to accomplish, and you had to make some of those changes in your life. You made those changes, and once you accomplished it, you dropped it. But now you're looking down at yourself or looking around at your surroundings, and you're saying, "Oof, I am back to square one. And now I got to get back on that horse." Get back on that horse, but don't get off next time. All right. So thanks again for tuning in. And yes, Nyla Wright. Okay, let me see. I don't have my book with me right now. I Tomorrow night I will put Nyla's link in her of her channel in the, well, you know what? I'll put it in the description. Yeah, actually, Olivia Love, I'll text it to you. I'm acting like I don't know you in real life. I'll text it to you. Thank you. Yeah, Freestyle Friday. Maybe I need to rename this live as Freestyle Friday. All right, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. You all are one of a kind for sure. Stay safe and remember, okay? Listen, remember, if you're trying to play to win, you're going to have to practice every day. You can't just think that you're going to show up in the game and do your best. You may do your best for that one game and you might get over that one time, but if you playing to win the championship, it's more than that game to get to the championship. It's many games to get to the championship. You're going to have to win all the games. In order to win all the games, you're going to have to practice every day. So practice every day and do your best in practice, so that when you play, you will play how you've practiced and you will definitely win. Good night, everyone. I am Coach Sherri.